Yeah. Hello. Very good evening. So today we are going to discuss an important topic, which is called the principle of parallel plate capacitors. Okay. Now this is one of the very fundamental topics. Okay. In uh, any exam, even if it is your board exams or even if it is your entrance exams like JEE Mains, Advanced, and even in NEET. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the principle of a parallel plate capacitor. Okay, now basically when we consider any metallic plate, let us say we are having a metallic plate A which is fully charged. Okay, we are having a metallic plate A which is fully charged. When I say it is fully charged, it means that the metal plate, when you are charging, for example, if you say positive charge, I have to remove the electrons. So if I have to remove the electrons, I can remove only outermost electrons. And all the metals, they will have some definite number of free electrons or outermost electrons. So if I take a metal piece, there will be some definite number of free electrons which I can remove. When I've removed all the free electrons, I cannot charge it further. So therefore, I simply say that it is a fully charged plate. Okay, it has reached a saturation. Okay, and we'll redraw the plate here. And let's say it is now given a positive charge. So it is a fully charged plate A. Now, if I bring another uncharged plate B near it, what happens? Let us see. I am bringing another uncharged plate B near it. What is happening? You will find that B is neutral. So therefore, because of induction due to A, you will find that on B, the charges get redistributed. Okay, that is, negative charge will come on one side and positive charge will go on the other side. I hope you are understanding. Okay, this is induction. This happens by induction, that the charges get redistributed. Induction is a process of redistribution of charges. Okay. Now, what happens is, because of the presence of the negative charge here, the potential of the positive charge, the potential of the plate A has been decreased. How? Let us try to analyze this one. For that, I'll give you a small analogy. Okay, let us say we are having a charge Q. Okay, at a distance r from it, you will find that the potential of the charge is V equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R. Now, suppose I bring another charge minus Q here, what would happen is the potential of the negative charge, let us say is V dash, would be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into minus Q by R. So now the potential at the point P initially was 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R. This was the original potential before this charge was brought. So then, if now the charge, negative charge has come here, what will happen is, you will find that the net potential at P would become V plus V dash. In other words, it will become simply V plus V dash. Okay. In other words, you will be getting it as nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R. I'll take common. You'll be left with in the bracket Q minus Q. Right? This is the net potential now at P. Because of the negative charge, what happened here is, try to understand this very clearly. Because of the presence of negative charge at the point P, the potential of Q got decreased. Initially, the potential of Q was this much, but because of the negative charge, the potential at P, because of Q, has now become this much. It has decreased. It has gone down by this value. Now, if I want to bring this back to the original potential, what can I do? I can add another charge plus Q, okay, to this Q here. Okay. If I add this charge, what would happen? Now the new potential will be at P will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R brackets. Now the total charge here on the left side, the total charge here will be nothing but plus Q, small q plus capital Q. That is, we'll put it this way, it is Q plus Q minus Q, because minus Q is already there here. So therefore, this cancels off and the potential will come back to its original value, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R. So therefore, you are finding that the potential initially was this much. Okay, the potential initially was this much. After we have taken the negative charge, the potential got reduced. And by adding a charge Q here, the potential has come back to its original value. So in the same way, we can say that because of the presence of this negative charge on B, the potential of A has decreased. The potential of A has decreased. So what can I do? I can bring this potential of A to its original value by doing the same process. That is, by adding some charge Q. Okay, I can add some charge Q. Therefore, I can bring again A to the potential or to its original potential. Now, this is one method. Another thing is, I can decrease the potential of A further, okay, by bringing or by connecting the outer edge of B to the earth. This is called as earthing, and you know that earth is having zero potential. So therefore, all the positive charge will now flow into the earth. Okay, all the positive charge will flow into the earth. So this positive charge will not be there anymore. Okay, the positive charge will not be there. So then there is only effect of the negative charge. Okay, sorry. There is only presence of the negative charge here. Because of this, what happens? Potential of A will further decrease. If the potential of A further decreases, I can bring back A to its original potential by adding more amount of charge. So this is another step. Okay. So therefore, the capacity of A is further increased. Originally, it was storing only some amount of charges, but now because of these two things that I have done, that is by bringing an uncharged plate B and connecting B to the earth, I have decreased the potential of A, and then I have added more amount of charge into it. That means the capacity of holding the charges by A has increased. Now this has to be kept in mind very clearly, please. You have to understand this concept. Finally, I can do one more thing. The third thing that I can do, not finally, but the third thing that I can do is bring B closer to A. Okay, I can bring B closer to A. If I bring B closer to A, the distance will decrease, the negative potential will increase, and therefore the potential of A will further decrease. Okay, as it is, you can see here, when R increases here, you can see R increases. What happens? B dash will, when R decreases, I mean to say, V dash, okay, I'll just point it out here. You can see that when R decreases, V dash will increase, negative potential will increase. So when negative potential is increasing, then what happens? The net potential of P again would decrease. Okay, so potential of A will further decrease because of the presence of the negative charge. So therefore, you find that when B is brought closer to A, potential of A has further decreased. To bring it back to its original potential, I can add more amount of charge to it. Try to understand this. I can add more amount of charge to it. Then the last thing that I can do is I can bring a dielectric medium. We call it as a dielectric medium. So let us try to understand what you mean by this dielectric medium. I'll just draw the diagram of the dielectric medium. Here, you have brought a dielectric medium, which is nothing but an insulating medium. This medium is called as dielectric medium. Okay, and its dielectric constant is K. Then what happens is, because of the presence of this dielectric medium, the capacity, the capacity of A will further increase by K times. Okay, it can hold more amount of charges. So these are all processes. We have done 4 processes here. The first process was, okay, the first process was, that is the first process in which we are bringing B closer to A, an uncharged plate. Because of the presence of the negative charge, potential of A decreased. To bring it back to the original potential, I added more amount of charge and capacity has increased. Second thing is I connected this B to the earth, due to which the effect of positive charge is lost. Only effect of negative charge was there, because of which the potential of A further decreased and its capacity to hold the charges increased. So I added more amount of charge. The third thing that I did was I brought B closer to A, because of which the potential of A further decreased and I could add more amount of charge into it. This is the third thing that I've done. And finally, I have done the last thing, that is by taking a dielectric medium in between, by keeping a dielectric medium, an insulating medium between. Okay, like insulating mediums are normal like mica, paper, or thin sheets of paper, or you can even say water. Okay, okay, pure water is also bad conductor. So therefore, you can keep such materials in between, and therefore the capacity of A will increase by K times. So this is the process of increasing the capacity of A. Now let us try to understand this. Okay, we are saying that the amount of charge is directly proportional to the potential. When potential decreased, in order to increase the potential, we are increasing the charge. That's what we have been doing in the previous part. We have been adding more charge and increasing its potential back to its original value. So I can simply say that potential is directly proportional to charge, or I can simply give Q is equal to CV, or C is equal to Q by V. And the C is called as capacitance. It is called as capacitance. Okay. And what is its unit? As it is, you can see this charge is measured in coulombs. Okay, charge is measured in coulombs, and potential is measured in volts. So I can simply say 1 coulomb per volt is 1 farad. So farad is the SI unit of capacitance. It is the SI unit. Please remember, it's very important. Okay. Normally we use microfarads. Micro means 10 to the power of minus 6 farads. Okay. Now this has to be understood very clearly, please. An important point is C, that is capacitance, okay, does not depend upon charge or potential. Remember that. Capacitance does not depend upon charge or potential. When charge increases, potential also will increase, so that this ratio remains constant. So hence, for a given capacitor, the value of this capacitance is constant. Of course, we are having variable capacitors, but for a given specific conditions, this capacitance remains constant. It does not depend upon charge, or it does not depend upon potential. Okay, so I hope you have understood this. Now, where do we use these capacitors? How do we use these capacitors? These capacitors are used for storing the charges. One thing, it is used to store charges, and electrostatic potential energy. Electrostatic potential energy. Okay. Then, what is the use of this? In a circuit, you are representing a capacitor like this. This is some capacitor C. When we put it in a circuit, what it does is, whenever there is excess charge in the capacitor, it absorbs. Whenever there is a deficiency of the charge or energy, it supplies. So it keeps the circuit running smooth. Okay. For example, you can see in the case of a fan, you will find that there is a above the cup of the fan, you can see that inside there is a cylindrical capacitor. Okay, and this cylindrical capacitor does the same work. What it does is, whenever there is a less amount of energy, it will supply it. Whenever there is more amount of energy, it will absorb it, so that the fan runs with a constant speed. Okay, so this is the use of the capacitor. Okay, I hope you have understood this. In fact, we can understand more about it by doing the factors on which the capacitance depends. That we will discuss in our next class. Okay.